Welcome back to my channel. I'm Cindy Ross, and today I am going to go outside and paint some flowers in my watercolor journal, and I would love for you to join me. I am using a moleskin watercolor journal and just a regular Dixon No. 2 pencil, and I am sketching a wild Oregon iris. It's right in front of my sketchbook there. And I'm doing almost just a contourish kind of drawing. Really light lines and just slow and easy, and just getting the basic shape of that flower in, and the basic folds where the leaves and the stalk comes out of the flowers. And I'm just kind of observing the structure of the flower and then just interpreting it with my pencil in not too detailed of a way. I don't want to get persnickety. This isn't for a botanical encyclopedia. This is just for my own enjoyment. So I'm just taking it easy and just putting in the basic information and just relaxing while I do it. Breathing easy. I left the sound on in the background because there were so many birds chirping this day. And it was just a wonderful sound, a symphony of birds in the background that as I drew my flowers and painted my flowers. You can also hear the traffic, which is unfortunate, but I live not too far away from a very busy highway, so the highway noise is always there. But we're in the woods, so we hear a lot of birds all the time as well, and the breeze in the trees. So it's just easy going here. This is a journal I've kept for years. Every once in a while I remember that I have it, and I see a flower come out in the spring, and I think I need to get outside and just sit in my lawn chair and just spend a half an hour doing a little sketch in watercolor of this flower. And it's been actually a couple of years since I've done this. So it was really nice to sit down and get back to it. It's very, very relaxing. And then in the journal, over time, I just have all these little paintings collecting over the years. I think I started it back in 2012. Now I am taking out my Sakura Koi travel watercolor set. It's got 24 colors, I'm pretty sure. Or is that 48? Let's say 5, 2, 4, 6, 40 colors. No. 36 colors. Anyway, I think it's 36 colors. I really like these watercolor sets. The colors are pretty vibrant for the budget price that they are, at least back when I bought it. So I very rarely use the color straight off of the little pat of color. I can't remember what those things are called. The little cube of color. I usually always mix them up, add a little bit of some other color in with the color, just to the colors are nicer when you mix them, I think. But for the iris, I'm just paying attention to the different colors of purple and violet within the flower, a little bit of magenta. So I'm mixing up violets, magentas, reds together and coming up with varying hues for within the flower petal. And I'm leaving white space. There is white within the petals of the iris, so I'm allowing the paper to be my bright spots and not filling in everything. And I'm using darker values to put in some of those veiny lines within the interior of the flower. And just paying attention to where the lighter values are and the darker values, and just going back in and letting some areas dry, letting some areas bleed. This is a great exercise for playing with watercolors and kind of figuring out how they work and how they play together. I paint mainly in acrylic in my other paintings that I do. So I stick to watercolor basically for my journal because it's very portable. And it's so different than using acrylics, so it's very fun exercise to play around with it. I jump around quite a bit. I start on one area, then I'll go to another area, then I'll go back to that area, then start another area. It helps me kind of keep things balanced and also keeps me from getting tired of one area or too stuck on details in a particular area. Now I'm mixing up a variety of greens and yellow ochre to create some green for the stem. And just like with the flower, I'll eventually put a variety of different hues into the stem and the leaf areas. Love all the different colors and making it as varied as possible. And mixing up yellows and blues to make new greens. And then I go back to the flower. Putting in some brighter pinks. Just have fun and play with your colors and use any kind of colors you want. Make it as imaginative as you like, as bright as you like, or as subdued as you like. A little more dark in there for the veins again. After an area dries, I'll go back in and add another layer of darker values on top to create depth. Now I decide I'm going to draw another flower. Now that I've gotten the basics in of the second flower, drawn it and filled in the paint for that, now I'm going back in again to my first flower. Back into those veiny, dark veins again because they dry so light. Now I'm going to come in with some other hues of green, different hues of green, different values of green. Putting darker values into the lower flower, the second flower. Just keeping it real impressionistic and loose, relaxed. My goal is to stay relaxed and enjoy myself, and at the end of it, I just want to be able to recognize that flower as an iris, an Oregon iris, which I can, so that's as much detail as I need. So I make sure my watercolor is dry, and then I take a soft eraser and I erase all the pencil lines off of my painting. Then I take a permanent fine-tipped black marker I put an edging around, a little frame around my painting with the black marker, with the kind of a semi-broken line. And then I am going to put in an outline, which I will make sure it's broken. I don't want a solid line. I want thin and thick areas of ink, and I want broken areas where the line breaks and stops and starts again a little further down. And then putting in some accent and detail lines into the interior of the flower with the ink pen. This adds kind of a fun graphic element and a little more detail, and kind of finishes it off. This particular pen is a Pitt pen. Got a little shadow coming over me there from the tree. The sun has moved. Now I'm going back in with some yellowish, orangish colors of paint into the interior of the flower that I just noticed. And there we go, I'm all done. Later I'm going to put some journaling onto the page about the day and the temperature and what I was doing. But that's it, and I hope you give this a try. It's a very relaxing, fun way to spend some time with your watercolors and a journal and some time in nature. Thanks so much for watching. You guys have a beautiful day.